Preenet, AJ1G. Okay, nope. So let's go to Al, W1VTP, and then Howie, WF2Q, W1GTH, and yeah, and that'd be the next three, and then back to KC1BOW, GTH, AJ1G.
Over to me?
Yeah, go ahead, Al.
I just got here to shack, so, and I have a missing wire, so I can monitor my modulation that way. Okay. So good morning. I'm a little bewitched and befuddled. Just rolled out of bed about 7:30 and rushed around to get my coffee. Oh, it's working. How did that happen? Oh, I know what's missing. I gotta go get my rodent. That is what is missing. So I see that it's 5 minutes of 8, and we have a new net control thing. That'll be kind of cool. Anyway, variety's the spice of life, if that's the case. Anyway, and I don't know who to turn it over to. I just got my brain kind of turned on, but it hasn't booted up yet, so somebody help me with some adult supervision. W1 VTP.
NE1S.
J1G. No, I'm not going to be net control unless Joe doesn't show up, but I can't imagine that. I'm just here early. I couldn't sleep. I've been dealing with a really nasty head cold. It's even given me nosebleeds, my wife as well. And I was up, so I started about 7:30, starting to keep the frequency warm, and everyone's just kind of showing up. I expected Joe would be here. I'm not normally in on this net, but since I'm homesick today, I'm not going to go to church. I didn't go to church today. Homesick. I figured I'd come in down here. So it goes down to Howie, and then W1GTH, and then KC1BOW, and then back to me. But let's keep an eye on the time. Joe will be dropping in here any minute. One of the things I've been doing while I've been dealing with this freight train train wreck of a cold, I've been watching a bunch of Shelby interviews and all about GT40s and things on YouTube, and some really good stuff out there. After I saw that Ford versus Ferrari, I wonder if you had a chance to see that yet. WF2Q and the AM carrier net Preenet, AJ1G.
Good morning, N1VIV.
Yeah. Okay, Joe, take it away. I'll only tell you who I got. Would you like a list?
WF2Q. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. Hang on 1 second. Let me make sure I've got it.
I was a Ferrari owner back in the late 60s, and the Ferrari racing in the United States was centered around Luigi Canetti's place in Greenwich, Connecticut. Canetti was Ferrari's pal, and he was the guy that convinced Ferrari that he needed to sell street cars in order to subsidize his racing. And if you went in the back, it was showing you in the shop they had the racing division, and if you were a regular there, you could walk in the back and walk amongst the cars and all of that stuff. And that dealership made it into the 70s, and they kind of went out of business. His son, I saw his son 2 years ago, Canetti's son 2 years ago at a car show in Boca Raton, where we were showing a 1927 Rolls Royce. And it was interesting to be a part of that history here in the United States. And to give you an idea, in the first 20 years of Ferrari production, they made 5,000 cars in 20 years. Now they make more than that in 1 year. Over to N1VIV, I guess it's net time, WF2Q.
Yeah, I'll just turn it over to you.
Let me just give you the list. The adjustment here. There we go. That's pretty close. This microphone lined up here. Yeah, so I think Chris was offering to give me a rundown because I think he's maybe been here the longest. Good morning to Howie and good morning, Al, and anybody else who's already in here. So let's see. Oh, we got just about a minute, just enough time, Chris, for you to run down the list for me, and we'll get things launched. Boy, I woke up late today. I woke up at like 7:43 or something like that. But I got a little extra sleep, so I'm not arguing about that. So over to you, Chris, and we'll see what the list looks like now and take it from there. N1VIV.
Okay, N1VIV, AJ1G, hopefully not on long path. 25,000 miles or a couple hundred yards, one way or the other. All right, so I guess the list would be myself, AJ1G, KC1 Bravo Oscar Whiskey, WA2RAS, Kilo 1 India Charlie, Kilo Bravo 1 Victor Whiskey Charlie, Whiskey 3 Mike Romeo, Whiskey 1 Victor Tango Papa, Whiskey Foxtrot 2 Quebec, Whiskey 1 Golf Tango Hotel, and that's all we had as far as until you showed up, Joe. Yeah, I'll turn it over to you, and then maybe you can turn it back to me, or however you want to do it. AJ1G.
Yeah, okay, Chris. Scribbling away here, but I think I've got it. So AJ1G. Just a quick on the prefix. Was that KC1 BOW?
Oh, Kilo Charlie 1 Bravo Oscar Whiskey. Rich, up in Rentham.
Rich, Romeo Igloo Charlie Harry, Rentham, Massachusetts, right next to Foxborough.
Oh, okay. I had Chris, and then I had the other station, and it sounded like it was different call signs. So, is it Harry up in Rentham?
No, sir, it's Rich. Rich, Romeo Igloo Charlie Harry.
Oh, I've got it. I just heard, and then your call, just to make sure I'm clear on it.
It's Kilo Charlie 1 Bravo Oscar Whiskey, KC1 Bo, BOW. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got it. My apologies. I just, Chris had it all correct. He had it all messed up because I'm just not awake enough, and that's on me. So I apologize. Good morning to you, Rich, and welcome to the net. I don't know. We must have stopped before, but I called them. No. Well, maybe we have. In any case, welcome, and nice to hear you. And then Jeff, WA2RAS, Gary K1IC, KB1BWC. I've got that right. Prefixes I'm just not as clear on. There might be folks that KB1, that's Steve in Falmouth. KB1BWC, we've got that now. KB1BWC, good. W3 MMR, I believe that's Perry. Good morning to you, Perry. Excellent. Al, W1 VTP, WF2Q, W1 GTH, and that should do it for who was here in the pre-net. Continuing to try to sip a little bit of coffee here to get my brain stabilized, but my apologies for getting in here so late. Today is 1/5/2020, so Happy New Year to all. All right, let's get things rolling here. My apologies again for running a little bit late. We're already at 8:03, and I'm a little short on time this morning, so we'll have to figure out what that looks like. And again, I'm open, and my email is good on QRZ. So if any folks have suggestions on thoughts about alternating the deck control, I'm definitely okay with that, and would always welcome the help, to be honest. So don't hesitate. My email is good on QRZ. Shoot me an email and let's talk if anyone has interest in sharing net control duties for sure. Because there are some Sundays that I'm not able to be here, and I would again welcome being able to sit back and just listen to the net and participate briefly would probably be not such a bad way to enjoy the net. But I don't mind doing the net control, but I'm open to suggestions, so don't hesitate. Send me an email, and we'll go from there. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the AM Carrier Net. My name is Joe. My call is N1VIV, and I'm located in Stonington, Connecticut. The AM Carrier Net meets every Sunday morning here at 8 a.m. local time here on 3835 on the 75-meter band. The AM Carrier Net was established for the purpose of promoting and enjoying operations in the AM mode. It's a casual net, so there's no requirement for check-in other than being able to operate in the AM mode. We certainly like to hear from new stations who are just beginning to explore interest in operating AM, whether you're trying to resurrect an old boat anchor or maybe trying to get a more modern radio to sound good on AM on any given Sunday. So there's a whole host of participants with knowledge and information to that end, so all are welcome. Please join in. The format of the net is take check-ins by call district, and if there's check-ins during round one, we typically try to attack those folks in at the end of round one. If there's check-ins during round two, we typically try to weave those folks in as we go. Certainly want to pause momentarily and say good morning to anybody who might be just in the listening mode, whether you're a licensed radio amateur or maybe a shortwave listener. In either case, if you're just listening this morning, good morning. Certainly also want to let folks know if for whatever reason you're on a short timeline this morning. Let me know when you check in by saying something like, please float me to the top, so that I can get you in at the top of round one, so we can get you in here, and then off to whatever other responsibilities you may have. So I think that's it for the formalities. Other than more caffeination, my apologies. Looks like I'm reasonably well on frequency, which is good. And thanks to Chris. Here's the rundown I have of free net check-ins. Alpha Juliet 1 Golf, just down the street here. Chris in Stonington. KC1 BOW. Good morning to you, Rich. My name's Joe, and I'm in Stonington, Connecticut, if we haven't talked before, so we've got those particulars out of the way. Then we've got WA2RAS, K1IC, KB1VWC, W3MMR, W1VTP, WF2Q, and W1GTH. So those are the pre-net check-ins I have so far here. So let's take check-ins from the second call district. 2 land stations for the AM Carrier Net. Please call now. This is N1VIV.
WA2MER.
Yeah, okay, good morning, Jim. Nice to hear you. WA2MER, Northern New Jersey. We've got you. Very nice to hear you in here this morning. I didn't hear any other 2 land stations, but let's give another listen just in case. Any other second call district stations for the net, please call now.
Good morning. KV2 in QN. Good morning.
Okay, we had Steve in there. Good morning to you, Steve. KB2. NQN, and there may have been another station in there. I don't know if it was a far-off sideband station that I was detecting modulation based on Steve's carrier. I can't be 100% sure, so let's give another listen. We got you, Steve, KB2 NQN. Any other 2 land stations for the net, please call now.
N1VIV, W1GTH.
Hey, good morning, Bob. W1GTH, we've got you. Did you need me to slide you up to the top or anything?
Negative, but I'm, from what I've been hearing here with K1, AJ1G, I believe I'm supposed to turn it over to KC1 BOW, but check with Chris and on that, Joe, but I believe that's the way it was supposed to go.
Oh, okay. Well, he had given me the list with Rich right after him, which might have made sense based on, and I don't have any particular inclination necessarily, but thanks, Bob. And let's see, Chris, did you have any direction on the order from the pre-net? I don't have any particular, if we've got what's established now, I'm fine, but if you have any thoughts, Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, well, that was based on just the stations at the time for the pre-net. So W1 GTH is checked in after WF2Q, and you have other stations past him, so logically they would go past F2Q and GTH and would not go back up to KC1BOW. He would be first on the list and then me. Over.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Well, thanks, Bob, and thanks, Chris. I think we're okay with that. And it's no trouble from my perspective. But again, if anybody has a requirement to be floated to the top, don't hesitate. Just jump in and let me know, and we can float you to the top if that's something that would be helpful to allowing folks to check in and get in here in the first 15 or 20 minutes. So no problem. We've got KB2NQN, any other two land stations for the net, please call now. This is N1VIV. All right, nothing else heard there.
No problem.
So let's listen for first call district stations, one land stations for the AM carrier net, please call now.
KE1MI.
1SH, good morning.
NE1S.
Okay, we've got a few there, and there may have been a double early, so we might need to loop back, but we've got Greg KE1MI, KD1SH, and NE1S. Good morning to you, Larry. Very good. I don't know if we've spoken since the holiday or just before the holiday, but thanks very much again for passing on that need related to Jackson Bob, and we hope Jackson Bob's listening this morning, and if so, I hope he's doing well. Had a chance to check into that website link you'd offered, and really appreciate the opportunity to try to be helpful with that. So that's great. Thanks, Larry. Much appreciated. Let's see if I might have missed somebody. I had KE1MI, KD1SH, and NE1S. So any other one land stations for the net, please call now.
Whiskey Foxtrot 1 Lima, WF1L.
Good morning, Duke.
Okay, I've got WF1L. Good morning, sir. I don't know that we've talked before or that you've joined the net, so welcome to you. It's customary that we have folks who are new to the net get floated to the top for introduction, so I will do that now. WF1L. Kind of as a way of saying welcome and glad you're joining us there. So very good, WF1L. Floated to the top for introductions. Excellent. Any other one land stations for the net, please call now. Okay, nothing else heard there, so let's do a general check-in. Any stations anywhere? Any stations anywhere? 1, 2, 3s, 4s, and beyond for the AM carrier net, please call now. This is N1VIV. Sure, well, nothing else heard. A few folks conspicuously absent, notably Steve. G2FW, but in any other case, we've got a decent turnout here, so very good. Give one more listen just in case. Any other check-ins for the net, please call now. Okay, very good. Well, we'll go with what we have here and add folks as we go. Thank you, Chris, for giving me the rundown at the top of the net. And appreciate everybody coming in here this morning. Unfortunately, I'm in a little bit of a tough spot where I'm only good till about 9:20. So if we have additional check-ins, our round one may extend quite a while, and I don't know if that's going to leave us with just a single round one, but I've got some limitations today where I woke up late. I do need to go to church, and that's going to require some preparation. So 9:20, I'm going to have a hard stop. So my apologies on that. But again, if somebody wanted to track the order of check-ins and who's staying and going, and take round two as net control, I would welcome that absolutely. And we'll do the best we can with the time we have. So let me get things rolling here. A quick rundown, just to make sure we're good on the order, and then we'll head on down the list with just some brief comments from me. So I'm going to get things started. I'm going to send it to, I think it was a new check-in to the net, Whiskey Foxtrot 1 Lima, WF1L. I'm going to send it to you, sir. And then we'll get introductions from you, and then a big send to Chris, AJ1G, down here right in my neighborhood in Stonington. Chris, AJ1G, would send it to KC1BOW. Rich, I don't know, I have a feeling that we've talked before, but if you're new to the net as well, my apologies, and welcome. I might not have notes on that. So AJ1G would send it to KC1BOW. KC1BOW would send it to Jeff, WA2RAS. WA2RAS would send it to Gary, K1IC. K1IC would send it to KB1VWC there in Cape Cod. KB1VWC would send it to Perry, W3MMR. W3MMR would send it up to Al, W1VTP. W1VTP would send it to Howie, WF2Q. WF2Q would send it to Bob, W1GTH there in Walcott, Connecticut. W1GTH would send it to WA2MER down there in Vernon, New Jersey. WA2MER would send it to Steve, KB2NQN. KB2NQN would send it to Greg, KE1MI. KE1MI would send it to Bill, KD1SH. And KD1SH would send it to Larry, NE1S. Larry, if there's additional check-ins, we're going to tack them in after you. If not, it'll come right back up to the top of the list to me, and we'll see what time we have and how many folks are staying and going for a potential round two. But could be, we'll have to see. If there's additional check-ins, usually if we get above 20, boy, it gets, and my timeline is short. So again, if anybody has interest in kind of tracking the comings and goings of the net and taking round two today, I would have absolutely no objection to that at all. Would welcome the help. Let's see. I'm going to just make a few very brief comments. Just on the Viking 2 this morning, listening on the Hammerland HQ 129X, and seems like we've got a little bit of sunshine out there today, so I'll take that, and I don't think it's terribly cold, so that's also very welcome. Just a quick update here from the shack, as we've been doing lots of reorganizing here at my house. So I've moved everything from my upstairs shack down here to the basement, and it's a little bit spread out right now, but it's not in terrible disarray. And so I'm adding a second operating position down here in the basement shack, which will have a bunch of modern gear and hopefully my homebrew rig and some VHF gear as well. And it'll be expanding the shack and then expanding that further into a man cave down here for a variety of different purposes, including music and other hobbies and interests I have, as well as maybe getting some other television, entertainment, other things down here in the basement. It's a finished basement, so that's kind of nice. It's not always very warm down here, but it's warm enough to get by. So And the glowing tubes certainly help. So I've been on the move, so to speak, because there's folks in the family that want to reconfigure space upstairs, and I'm welcoming that, and it's going to allow my wife to get some dedicated space upstairs, my younger son getting some dedicated space, and my older son's spending 70% of his reality away at college now, so he's home for a few more weeks, and then he'll be heading back to Boston for the second semester of his freshman year, so he's going to be digging in on that soon enough, so we'll see what comes with all that. So, in any case, let me get things rolling here and on down the list. Let me send it to our new check-in, and I'll run interference if I need to, but over to WF1L, and WF1L, you'll send it to AJ1G. So WF1L and the AM carrier net. Take it away, sir. Welcome, and I'll leave you to do some introductions. So this is N1VIV. Over.
November 1, Victor, India, Victor. Here is Whiskey Foxtrot 1 Lima. The name is Phil, and we're located in Dover, Delaware, down here in the middle of the third state, just across from pretty much Cape May, New Jersey. So we're a little south of where most of you guys are all at. Rudimentary, we'll talk about 56 truck, and the antenna is a double that's up 45 feet. Kind of moves from place to place. In any case, we're an AM aficionado. We do have a vintage station which is not on the air at the moment. It's a Johnson Viking 1 and a Hammerland HQ-17. So we run the Japanese stuff first thing in the morning. Score ticket up on the vintage station. I'm only halfway into my first cup of coffee. We're only going to be one and done this morning, so but would want to say hello to Perry Esrick, 3 MMR, down there in Chester. Haven't heard from you in a while, and haven't been on 85 too much. So, in any case, I'm going to pass it on to Chris, Alpha Juliet 1J, Germany. Been looking at your webpage. Do enjoy the pictures of your car. I do operate mobile HF for my car as well, and I also use hamstick antennas. I find them to work just fine, and I usually use them when I'm driving. I have a 3-magnet mount which holds them fairly securely at speeds up to about 80 miles an hour, so I haven't had much problem with them falling off or anything, unless I hit something that's hanging lower than it ought to be. So that's the only time I've ever had them knocked off the car when I've been driving. And I have been able to work lots of places. I've worked New Guinea on 20 meters. I've worked Europe on 40. Lots of places. And really enjoy it. It really makes the miles go by when you sit there and chat with people as you drive down the road. So a mobile HF ham station is definitely the way to go, especially if you have a nice car like yours. You've got a beautiful big flat roof on yours. It's driving a Subaru Outback, which also has a big flat roof. You and I are both blessed with that type of situation, and a good reflective surface for the radio waves to work off of. So with that, I'll pass it on to AJ1G. This is Whiskey Foxtrot, 1 Lima, Bill in Dover.
Okay, Whiskey Foxtrot 1 Lima and the AM carrier at AJ1G. Okay, very good, Bill. Yeah, I wonder, you're in Dover, Delaware, and you're W1. I wonder if you're somehow associated with the University of Delaware. And I know there's a very bright young freshman. I think he's a freshman. Maybe he's a junior now, or a sophomore now. Dan. I can't remember his call sign, but I'm sure Perry knows it. A very bright kid who has AM in his blood. He and a ham radio in his blood. He's doing some very cool stuff already as a research assistant down there. He's putting a radio club on the air. And the first guy I ever knew that built a pair of 813s modulated by 813s as a high school science project. And Perry, you can probably fill me in. It's a KD3 or something like that. Yeah, very smart guy, Dan, as I recall his name is. And yeah, Rich, I need to update that QRZ page. That Volvo XC70 to 98. That's probably it's probably a taxi in a third world country now. I put that up a long time ago on the page, and back in 2012 it dropped the valve, and I traded it in for a Tacoma pickup, which I've run mobile. I've never put a picture in QRZ of that in. And now also I run a mobile, an IC7100. I also ran that in a truck in the last couple months. I picked it up in August when I retired. I ran it in the truck most of the summer and fall, and now I've got it over in a new Volvo, which we've had since March. It's a 2017 XC60. And there's a picture I just posted now on amfilm.net in the QSO section. There's a thing about 80 meter propagation as a friend. It's probably right at the top of the QSO list. A lot of people are talking about how long the band has been, and I put a posting up a few minutes ago, and I put a picture of the car down on the Volvo down on Stonington Point. And it's a real money shot. I did it last Sunday, right before church down there. I go to church in the borough, and I was down there before church and caught a beautiful sunrise, and got a really nice one-in-a-million shot down there, and I'm going to put that on my QRZ page. So we're running a Central Electronics 20A and 600L, about 100 watts of carry to the ability B, and radios from back in the 50s. It's actually a single sideband exciter from 1955, a very early one. And it also runs AM with and without carrier. You can run individual sidebands with and without carrier. It can run CW, and also can run FM. It runs dual sideband with and without carrier. So it's a very cool little exciter. It puts out about 20 watts on its own with a pair of 6 AG7s, and then the following year or so, 1956, they came out with the 600L amplifier, single grid-driven 813. 600 watts PEP input on sideband, 200 watts input on AM, puts out about 100 on AM. And the receiver is as new as the transmit side is old. It's an RTO SDR running on an iMac computer. I'm also using my old EH SL RAM that I've had for 55 years. And I went on the air this week, 52 years ago, January 4th, 1967 is WN2ZPS down in West Nyack, New York. So I'm going to turn it, before I turn it over to Rich, KC1BOW, I think when you gave the list, I think you lost LW1VTP. He's supposed to be between W3MMR and WF2Q. So did you want to remind people of that over? And I'll remind people right now.
Oh, yeah, I have Al on my list, so if I did not say that, that's my error. So apologies on that if I didn't actually say that in the rundown. It is where I change columns, so I wonder if I may have missed that somehow. So yes, I have W3MMR, sending it to Al, W1VTP, and then W1VTP, sending it to Howie, WF2Q.
Bob, do you have Chris? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you missed them, and maybe that's exactly how you did it. You jumped columns, and you went right to Howie there. Yep, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you caught that. We didn't want to leave Al out in the weeds there. Okay, so over to Rich, KC1, BOW, up in Rentham near the Patriots place. and the AM carrier net, AJ1G.
Well, good morning all. The call is Kilo Charlie 1, Bravo Oscar Whiskey. The name here is Rich, Romeo Igloo Charlie Harry. I'm out in Wrentham, Massachusetts, and I'm running a 756 Pro 2 and an ACOM amplifier. And the weather here is roughly 34 degrees. The sun is finally out. It looks like it's going to be a great day. I'm not going to hold it too long. Thanks for, this is my first time on the net. I hope all is well. And I'm not really sure who to pass it to as well, but thanks for including me. Kilo Charlie 1, Bravo Oscar Whiskey.
Yeah, okay, Rich. Well, welcome, and glad that you joined us. It would have been. I'm glad you're close to the top of the net, because it would be customary for us to float folks who are new to the top of the list. So you were at least close to the top of the list. So very good, very nice to make your acquaintance there, and glad to hear that you're able to join us this morning. Would you be able to stay for round 2 if we have time to have one there, Rich?
Yeah, I'm in my nice warm little garage shack here. It's comfortable, so I will be here, and I'm listening to all these new names and looking them up on QRZ.
Okay, very good. And I apologize. I was just running to grab my second cup of coffee out of the microwave, which is just across the room. Did you mention, what are you running there for a station?
The radio I'm on now is the 756 Pro 2, and I have it going through an ACOM 1000, and it's going through my Palstar BT 1500A, and I'm on a random length loop wire. It's this one is fed with the small window line, and it's out in the yard, and it's not pretty, but it seems to be working.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, it certainly is working. We've got a decent signal strength down here, and the 756 sounds good, so no trouble at all there, Rich. We're hearing you just fine from Wrentham, Massachusetts. So welcome again, and glad to hear you joining us this morning. Very good indeed. So let me send it down to, and just while I have it real quick, I heard you mention, Chris, that you were under the weather, and you and Diane as well were under the weather, so that's unfortunate. Sorry to hear you entering the new year like that. Back in, right around Thanksgiving, I got really sick. And so it sounds like a very similar thing, but man, I got flattened for about 10 days or so. It was really bad, maybe even a couple of weeks. So I hope you're on the mend as soon as possible there, Chris. And sorry to hear you're a little under the weather, but glad you're here today either way. So from Rich in Wrentham, we're sending it to Jeff down in Island Park, Long Island. WA2RAS. This is N1VIV.
Okay. Thank you, Joe. N1VIV in the net. This is WA2RAS. Good morning, everybody, on the first net of 2020. And like Chris, we're also on a rig out of the 1950s. This is a Latine radio that you're listening to. Joe, you mentioned suggestions for an alternate net control, and I don't know how anybody else feels about this, but I would suggest Rosie as someone who has good knowledge of the net and good operating practices. So it's just a thought. If she was available. And kudos to AJ1G, Chris, who did a really good job of holding down the frequency. A lot of sideband activity there, and Chris did a good job of clearing it out, even though he was actually wounded in action, and managed to sustain injuries there with his cold there and bleed all over his logbook.
and probably should get the Purple Heart microphone for conspicuous valor. I would think. And I'd love to hear Bob WSIL, who I know from the Antique Wireless Association, and good to hear you, Bob, this morning. One of my things, I got so much stuff here in the shack here, which used to be talking about realigning operating positions. Used to be my daughter's bedroom. That I have a 2-meter AM transceiver, if anybody remembers that one. And in order to put it in the shack, I need to take something out. There's no room in the shack. Barely room for me, actually. So not much in the way of space here. Anyway, big net today at 100. This will be my only transmission. However, I will be definitely listening out to the entire first round. On that note, over to Gary. Gary, good to hear you. Big signal. K1IC. And the net, this is WA2RAS.
Okay, and good morning all. This is K1IC and the Floodfield section of Fairfield, Connecticut. Everything's looking good here so far. And good morning to Joe and to all the shortwave listeners as well. Well, I've been busy enjoying my time off for the moment. I've been working on this, that, and the next thing. Doing a lot of reading and some CW operation. I was out yesterday with the hams for breakfast and so on and so forth. So don't have much to tell you. The projects are abound here. It's trying to avoid cleaning, which I get to a little bit at a time, and so on and so forth. Don't really have much to say this morning, so I'm going to keep it short, and I think I pass it to Steve up there on the Cape. Joe, I'm only here for one round because I don't have much to say this morning. So KB1VWC, this is K1IC. Good morning.
Yeah, K1IC in the AM carrier net, KB1VWC. Good morning, everyone. For those who don't know me, name is Steve, Sierra Tango Echo Victor Echo, and I'm located in Falmouth, Massachusetts, out on Cape Cod, and I'm running a Heathkit Apache listening on a Mohawk, and the antenna is a flat-top dipole up at someone else's antenna is also, I guess, varying, so mine's probably varying between 35 and about 45 feet this morning as the wind is quite strong down here. Seems to be a common theme this morning, cleaning up the shack area. It's pretty much what I've been doing as well, and cleaning up the back fence area, and later on today the garage, and maybe the shed if the wind dies down a little bit, since it's been one of those situations where you just walk out to the shed and kind of put the stuff down right in the middle of the floor and never actually put the stuff on the shelves, etc., etc. So it's definitely time to, since I have been unable to really get to the shelves in the shed, I think it's time to pull everything out and reorganize. Also, lamenting the end of the Tom Brady era here, please, in New England. More than likely, it seems like he's probably done with New England after this season, but hey, who knows? Let's see, radio-wise, I finished off a second German stereo console that I had been working on. I'd done a large Grundig earlier in the year. Now I finished a Blaupunkt, and this one kept irritating me greatly because it kept losing sensitivity. It would, after probably being on for an hour or so, it would magically lose a decent amount of FM sensitivity and practically all of the AM sensitivity. And it turned out they have these very small, for lack of a better term, I guess I'm going to call them neutralization capacitors. They were around 1.5 picofarads between the plate and the grid in the IF strips. And these caps were starting to partially shorten. These are these little tiny ceramics that you would never think would go bad. But taking those out and replacing them with correct values has solved all the problems. Or at least it ran fine for several days now, so I'm assuming that that's all taken care of. And the other problem I was having with it was the phonograph motor appeared to have a lack of torque, and it's just a shotted pole motor. So it would be spinning at the correct RPM, and pretty much as soon as you put the tone arm on it, it would slow down. And the weight was correct and everything on it, but anyway, I ended up taking the motor completely apart rather than just lubricating it. And there was a slight amount of corrosion on the armature. So I polished all the armature and took care of all the corrosion on it. And magically, the torque all returned, and now it seems to be working fine. So the corrosion, I guess, must have been shorting the poles out partially and keeping the torque low. I'm going to be in here for one round only as well. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for letting me in. Down to Perry, W3MMR, KB1VWC.
KB1VWC from W3MMR. Real good, Steve. Good morning to you. Hold on 1 second here. Sounding real good signal down this way, Steve. So good morning and Happy New Year to everyone on the net. For those who don't know, my name is Perry, Papa Echo Romeo, Romeo Yankee. And the call is Whiskey 3, Mike Romeo, located in Chester, Pennsylvania, 7 miles southwest of Philadelphia in Delaware County, in the urban suburbs of Philadelphia. Running the Anon 200D this morning. Into an AL80B amplifier on about 175 watts of carrier, into a balanced L network homebrew tuner, into a 125-foot 600-ohm ladder line fed doublet. That's up about 65 feet. Not too much going on here. Pretty much the same story here as everyone else. The weather has cooled back down. It's been in the mid-50s here. It's and wet and rainy and back into the 30s and very, very windy here today. Got a big football game. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing the Seattle Seahawks for the wild card playoff game here at 4:40, I believe, here in Philadelphia. So the city here is pumped up. It's a pretty big deal for them. And for a lot of people in the city. I'm not a huge football fan, but I root for the home teams and listen to a lot of sports radio because I'm very big into baseball. Very into Major League Baseball, but so I hear a lot about the football stuff. I'm not a big fan. Just could never really get into it. But I am rooting for the Eagles, and I'm going to watch the game today. So let's hope the Birds can do it. But anyway, I don't think I have anything else to comment on. Everybody's got good signals down this way. The band's in good shape. Got on early this morning around 5, and the band was in terrible shape. It was very long, and there was, I don't know if any of you guys experienced it or still are experiencing it, but there was this buzz on the band, and it was like nationwide. It wasn't centered here. You know, I was switching from WebSDR to WebSDR, from Alabama to Florida to the QRMX WebSDR, and was getting this almost like power line type buzz on the 80 meter band, and also getting it locally, and couldn't figure out what it was, and I don't hear it anymore here. So I don't think it's there, but yeah, the band was kind of doing some funky things this morning, so it must have been some kind of atmospheric noise, obviously. So, nevertheless, 7-3, guys, this is my one and done. Again, Happy New Year. Hope you guys had a great holiday, and we'll catch you guys next weekend. And I turned it to Al, so here comes Al, and good morning to you and Rosie. We'll catch you guys later. W1VTP, 7-3 from W3MMR.
Yeah, okay. These are running hotter than a pistol here. W3 MMR, W1 and carrier net, W1 VTP. Yeah, running things a little bit too hot here. Turn my head sideways and I get some feedback. Oh well. Anyway, good morning all. Nice list this morning, 15. Not including net control, so I usually say 15 and 1. And I've got a couple of tips here this morning. I guess I won't call them pet peeves, but just some observations. When you're giving off a list, people can only write so fast, so give the list off slow enough so that it takes an effort to do this, because I do the list for the AWA net, and the temptation is to read it off too fast. But just give it off so that the person at the other end can at least write down the suffix anyway. Just a thought. So that's the soapbox. Yeah, I've got a soapbox here. That's a soapbox. Anyway, the second pet peeve is ripping off phonetics so fast that I personally have a problem with that. So if you give spell your name and you spell it really fast in phonetics, you might just well put the pencil down as far as I'm concerned. Now, other people probably have no problem with that, but personally, when people do that, I just put the pencil down. Now, regarding your call, if people know you and you're still giving out phonetics, well, if it's your stick, then fine. I can appreciate that. I've got a local guy up here that always gives off his call letter in phonetics, and it's just a stick. He does it. That's all. That's it, and I'm okay with that. Rosie's sitting right here. Yeah, that was the best I can do. Somewhat pathetic, young lady. She likes to see. She's looking right at the screen, and I've got 3 screens here. I've got the main pan adapter screen, and then I've got an LP100A, which gives me my average power and plus my SWR. And then I have a Telepost LP700 that has right now a split waveform stroke modulation monitor. And it has a green and a blue bar that go up with the negative on one side, positive on the other side. It shows what my I gotta cut that down. I know what I'll do. I'll cut down the audio on the headphones, and I won't get that. So anyway, I've got 15 plus 1 this morning. That's a pretty good list. And I don't rip off the list. I do have a complete list, so Mr. Net Control. And over to Howie. Howie, I feel so inadequate. I wouldn't even be able to afford to look at the cars you're talking about. There's no way in the world. I mean, some of the cars you're talking about are way more than I paid for the house. So you're running in pretty good circles there. Oh, Rosie just saw a red-headed woodpecker. You can hear her in the background. She's doing her little thing that they do when they see birds at the other end. So over to you, Howie. Sorry about the bloviating and also the soapbox. I'll get off the soapbox. There. I'm off the soapbox. WF2Q and the net W1VTP.
Yeah, okay. W1VTP. AM carrying a happy new year, everybody. Lost that in the shuffle. Condolences to all the Patriots fans. Besides losing, looks like your coach got caught cheating again. But anyway, enough said about that. It was two very exciting games to watch, as it turned out yesterday for all you football fans. And for the whole year, it warmed up a lot. It's 39 degrees. It was like all below 32 early this morning when I walked into the shack and turned everything on. Anyway, looking forward to a sunny but windy and sunny day here in New York. And for those of you that don't know, I'm running my trusty B&W 5100B and my HRO 60. And that's running barefoot and through some 450 minus 135 foot barefoot. It seems to work well. Interestingly enough, a lot of the stations, a few of the stations were on the sideband net on Friday morning at 8:30, and it's amazing to hear how much better their signals are on sideband as compared to AM. Especially guys like Jeff, who goes from sometimes barely audible to armchair copy. And I mean, that's the advantage of not having to tilt 3/4 of the power. But of course, I run the same audio chain here that I run on my vintage sideband radios, which is an Audio Technica large diameter condenser mic into a Symmetrix 528E, which was set up for me by Nick. So, of course, audio quality, you shouldn't need phonetics on AM, but sometimes we do. Anyway, over to W1GTH. Everybody have a great rest of the day. This is going to be my only transmission, WF2Q.
WF2Q and the AM carrier, W1GTH. Hang on, guys, let me just hit the tuner here. Okay, that's a little less SWR. I had to borrow the Matchbox tuner here for actually a sideband station. I get on a 40-meter net in the mornings, and I have, believe it or not, a 238-foot-long 40-meter dipole. It was in the July QST issue in 2009, and so it's twice as long as it should be, but it works really, really good. It's got a couple of 400 ohm phasers hanging down, and the problem is if it rains, or even worse, if it sleets or get freezing rain on it, the SWR goes way out of whack, and so anyhow. Yeah, so I want to ditto Al W1VTP's sentiment about the phonetics. At 83 years old, as soon as I heard phonetics being on it, I put the pencil down too. And usually, I don't know what happened to K2FW Steve this morning, but usually he's on the pre-net and he gives them as W1GTH, not Whiskey 1 Golf Tango Hotel. But be that as it may, it's maybe an old guy's thing, Al, I don't know. But so okay, I did watch the Patriots game last night, and I really am not a football fan, but I kind of wanted Tom at 42 years old to do it again. But the Titans team there, it was kind of a one-man team. They had one running back on there that he could not be stopped, and I think his name was Thomas, I'm not sure, but if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have a team. So be that as it may, that's how it struck me. So we got 32 degrees here, at least it was when I got up this morning, and it's very windy out there. It's going to be a cold day, I guess, and but we don't have any snow in the forecast, which is a good thing. We do have some rain in the forecast, which is kind of unusual for this time of year. But so I won't get into the global warming thing. I mean, we've been this weather change has been going on for millions of years, and so I'm not going to get worried about it. 83 especially. So anyhow, it's going to be I'm a one and done, Joe. As usual, I try to get in here because normally I have to fairly early in the net, because normally I have to get out of here probably by maybe 9:30 or so, and so that's the only reason I try to get in early, to get my spot in and get one and done. But Okay, guys. Hope to catch you next week. I'm on the ART-13, by the way, and I'm going to turn it over to my friend Jim, WA2MER, I believe. Hopefully I got it right. So, I'll catch you guys next week. W1GTH, clear.
Yeah, thank you, Bob. W1GTH in the group. This is WA2MER. Very good morning and Happy New Year. Thanks for the reminder there, Howie. I kind of forgot about it already. It's only been a few days, so happy 2020 to everybody. Hope everybody does well. And I'm running my ICOM Pro 2 into the Drake L7. Oh, geez, what happened to my... yeah, I'm running about 250 watts of carrier here. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. Just wanted to tweak it up a little bit. And a welcome to Rich up in Rentham. Our first QSO together. And welcome to the AM Carrier Net. I did a look up, and this is the first time we're on frequency together, so welcome. This is a very, very nice net. And it was nice to hear Bill from Dover, the WF1L. Normally hear you on the AWA net in the afternoon, which I'm not going to make. I'm going to be out on, I'm going to be away this afternoon. So in any event, that's what I'm running here. And Joe, good luck on getting a second operating position up there. I've tried to figure out how to do that here, and it's not a great, without boring everybody with all the details, it's not kind of practical where I'm located here in the house. But I am continuing to build. Some of you know I'm building a legal limit AM transmitter, 4-250 or a 4-400, whatever tube I come across at a reasonable price. It'll be modulated by a pair of 810s, which is not an economical choice, but they're kind of buzzardly looking tubes, and I'm going to do 810s. So that's... did some work on the power supply yesterday, and it's taking a long time because I'm trying to figure out how to do the proper layout. And also, I got my nice Milwaukee hole saw. I made an extremely clean hole in a panel. Mounted my first panel meter chassis, and that's going to hold the meter multiplier and high voltage rectifiers and bleeder resistors. So it'll be months in progress, but I'm working on it as I can. And tomorrow I come out of retirement officially. I start my new assignment up in Boston. Actually, it's going to be Somerville. And I'll be up there every week, generally Tuesday through Thursday, doing work up there. So looking forward to that. That'll be a 9 to 12 month assignment, and then after that I'll probably pull the plug. I'm going to join the old guys in grumping. You know, Al and I think Bob to some degree also GTH, we share similar pet peeves. You know, it was kind of funny. You know, I told my wife I'm practicing to be grumpy old man, so been practicing for years. But on the phonetics thing, you know, I learned phonetics, you know, back, you know, when I was doing work at Navy Mars around 1970. And you were using the military, Alpha Bravo, Charlie Delta Echo, and so on, right? And those are the ones that you recognize. And sometimes people get creative with phonetics, and that kind of throws me off sometimes, depending on the conditions. But what I really realized, there was one guy. I love the guy. He's a great guy. I'm not going to mention his call. He's really a great guy. I haven't spoken to him in months, but he will make up his own phonetics, but in the same CQ sequence, he will change them up. He'll say this is so, and he'll give his call 2 or 3 times phonetically, but he'll use different phonetics every time he does it in the same transmission. You really want to talk about going nuts. But anyway, that's the extent of my complaining. My other complaint today is I have to go to Long Island. I'm going to be one and done, Joe. I have to make a trip. It's a family affair out in Long Island today, and I'm grumping about it because no offense to the fine people who live on Long Island, it's a nice place to be. I don't mind being there, but I hate getting there, and I hate getting back from there. So that's my only grump. So we'll be doing that today. So again, one and done. Oh, by the way, someone had mentioned the college freshman down in Dover, down in Delaware, or Newark, I think it is. Daniel of KC3FKR, and he's the person, that's the call, I think it was Chris, AG1G, that mentioned KC3FKR. He's been under the fine tutelage of W3GMS, and he does really, really wonderful work, and he's got a bright future ahead of him, but don't hear much of him because he's very busy with schoolwork and so on. But anyway, 73 all. Have a great week, and hopefully I'll be with you guys next Sunday morning. Pick it up, Steve, KB2NQN from WA2MER.
WHUN New York, KBQN Radio, Roseland, New York. On Long Island. People hate to come. Good luck on your job there, Jim. My name is Steve for the other station. That's the name, and I'm located on the North Shore of Long Island. Jim doesn't like to go. You know all the traffic is at the bridge. It hasn't been too bad here, Jim, but I hope you have a smooth transition and good luck on the new job there. Howie, good to see you yesterday at HRU. We had Ham Radio University here, just down the road from me at CW Post College yesterday. It was entertaining. We had a couple of laughs there. And I was sitting with Howie, no kissing of his hand or anything. Group handshake, secret handshake. Hello to Bill down there in Delaware. Dover coming through so nicely. And the other two fellows, Rich and Redstone. Massachusetts. I know it pretty well there. I had actually he was a regional manager for Carter Carburetor that lived in Falmouth. Tom Pulmonary. I don't know if that name rings a bell. Of course, in a few years, I don't even know if he's still around, but I was in Falmouth and nice town, very nice town. Not too far from Woodfield, which I've been to also a few times. And I see that you're a Heath Kid aficionado. Next up on the bench here is an SB220, which has to change the hopefully get that thing going again. Currently working on a Gate 2 ST101F over here, trying to finish that up. And I am on a Flex 5000 here. Flex 5000 is the rig, and the antenna is a full-wave 80-meter dipole at about 40 feet, or at least it was before the wind came. I believe Steve has a major contest happening on SKCC right now, so maybe that's why he's not here. I did see him active on there yesterday, but maybe he's tied up with the senator from New Jersey that he is on SKCC. Very important position, and we are honored to have him here every Sunday. With that, I'll turn it over to up there to my friends to the north. Pick up a team. Might look at the Eagles. We root for the Eagles today. KE1MI, KB2NQN at Radio Rock.
Yeah, okay. KB2NQN, KE1MI. Okay, Steve, thanks for passing that over to me. A little light up here, but that's okay. Good morning, everybody. 33, 34 degrees last I looked. Snow's still falling. It started yesterday and hasn't quit yet. They're telling me it's going to get out of here this morning and then move on, but I'll believe it when I see it. And then I'll get out and clean it up, I guess. A couple inches here, not a big to do, but we got more coming Monday. And believe it or not, it's going to get wicked cold there, like Thursdays, 0 weather, and then back up in the 40s and rain by the weekend. That seems to be the trend every winter now. It gets real cold for a couple days, like 0 weather, below 0 weather, and then warm up a day or two later, and then rain, which is something we certainly don't need on top of the frozen ground, but I guess that's what we're going to get. Hopefully spring will come early this year. Well, I don't have a whole lot to report going on. I'm kind of disappointed with the Patriots, but it is what it is. I watched the Bills game, too. I was really rooting for the Bills. They played a great first half. I don't know what the heck happened in the second half, but they crapped out in the second half, so awful shame. I was really hoping to see the Bills move on because it's been a long time since Buffalo's been in the playoffs, so it's just too bad. Isn't it weird how football's gotten to be here lately? So I could care less who's in the Super Bowl now, personally, but I'm looking forward to baseball. Red Sox are shedding some weight, but that's all right. It'll be what it'll be. But baseball means spring, and spring means nice weather, and this winter just becomes a distant memory. What else we got going on? That's about it. I mean, I don't have a whole lot to discuss this morning, I guess. Good to hear everybody in here. A little bit of slot bucket there on the side, kind of being interfering, so I'm flipping back and forth between the web SDR and the local receiver. So here we go. I guess I'll do one round, Joe. I'll listen, but I don't really have anything more to add. So I'm going to just be listening in the listening mode here and say 7-3 to everybody. Enjoy your Sunday, and we'll talk to you later on. How do you, Bill? KD1SH from KE1MI, over.
PKG, LF.
I'll get a couple of check-ins there. Let me see if I've got it. Okay. Sounds like we had Ross, W1 EKG. Good morning to you, Ross. And Rob, N1ALF. And that takes us out pretty far there, beyond the 15 I originally had. And it's just 9 o'clock, so yeah, we may be looking more like a one round, but we'll see what we can do. Most folks are just staying for one round anyway, so folks who are going to try to stay for a round 2, it would be a small group, and we can set it up, but we'll see what we can do. So let's see, over to Bill. I'll just run down the rest of the list so that's clear to the 4 stations that remain here for round 1. So I'm going to send it over to Bill. KD1SH there in northeastern Connecticut. KD1SH would send it to Larry. NE1S there in Gray, Maine. NE1S would send it to W1EKG, Ross, in Whitman, Mass. And W1EKG would send it to Rob, N1ALF, in Greenwich, Connecticut. Rob, N1ALF, if there's no one else checking in after you, it'll come back up to the top of the list to me, and we can assess whether... Unfortunately, I do have a hard stop at 9:20, so that is what it is. But if folks want to continue to congregate and use the frequency, they're welcome to do so. So over to you, Bill, up there in the quiet corner, KD1SH in the AM carrier net. This is N1VIV.
Contact.
Oh, Al's got a comment. Let me make sure if nobody else has it. Go ahead and take it, Al.
Yeah, Net Control, I think I have a complete list. If you want, I can take it over when you jump out.
Oh, okay, great. That's fabulous. Yep, we just have those couple of additional check-ins that just came in, and if you have those guys, then I think you're fabulous. So, yeah, if you're available, Al, that sounds great. And we've got... a majority of folks checking out, but still, I know Chris is probably still here, and Rich said he was going to stay, yourself, and whoever else would stay from the remaining 4. So that would be fabulous, Al. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I will listen to the end and then pass it to you after some closing comments, and you guys can take it for round 2. That sounds great. Thank you very much. So I'll listen to any other comments. Otherwise, it'll go over to Bill, 81SH.
All right, Joe, very good. I guess there's no other comments out there. Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone on the first. Is it the first post-Christmas? I think it is. First of the new year, anyway. No, it wouldn't even be that. Oh, well, I'm all mixed up. But anyway, good morning to everyone on the AM carrier net from Bill, KD1SH, down here in the quiet corner of Connecticut, where we have a little bit of hail sunshine. And no rain and no snow, fortunately, so that's a good thing. It looks like this morning on the AM carrier net is ICOM 756 day. No less than 3 of them here on the net this morning, and they all sound good, and I'm glad to hear that because I've got a ICOM 756 Pro 2 over here myself, not running it here on AM. I have done that in the past when other rigs aren't available. I prefer to run my tube radios on AM, but the Pro 2 does a pretty good job on AM, and all 3 of them on the air this morning are sounding great. I love my Pro 2. That is my regular sideband radio, and I love the real-time band scope and a lot of other features with that radio, and it's pretty much my favorite plastic radio, you might say. So I'm very happy with it, and I'm glad to hear 3 of them on the net this morning sounding good. And Steve down there on the Cape, I think he might have signed out, but KB1VWC, that Apache sounds wonderful. I have heard people in the past, old-timers, often describe that radio as the scratchy Apache, but Steve's Apache definitely disproves that. That is a really nice sounding rig. Never owned one, seen a handful of them around, but impressed with the way that sounds. And Jim, WA2MER, I like your description of the A10s as buzzardly tubes. They definitely are buzzardly tubes. I've got a couple of them over here myself, and they are earmarked for future projects. And right now they're sitting all carefully tucked away in a drawer. And I've got some big mod iron hanging around somewhere too that those 2 buzzardly tubes will someday be driving into. So looking forward to that project. Projects. I've got more projects than I can keep track of over here. The current one is my B&W 5100B, which is on the workbench downstairs being all recapped, and hopefully we'll be ready for the AM rally. February, I think it's January 31st and then February 1st and 2nd. And very much looking forward to the AM rally. I had a blast in last year's event, and I ran the Ranger then. And looking forward to running the B&W 51B. 5100B I picked up at Nearfest in the fall, and it's in very nice shape, very, very clean inside and out, and apparently was working when I picked it up. That's what I heard anyway, but I decided to recap it anyway. The only issue there is that a number of hands have been in it, and some of the soldering is not the greatest. Matter of fact, some of the soldering looks like it was done with a propane torch, and a pair of vice grips and a hammer might have figured prominently in that workmanship there too. So I'm undoing some of that and bringing it back to the B&W standard, and looking forward to getting it on the air. So, in phonetics, a few people commented on phonetics. One thing that kind of drives me crazy is that people use their own versions of phonetics, which is fine but confusing, and kind of defeats the purpose of the whole International Phonetic Alphabet thing. I can remember a number of years ago working a VHF-UHF contest, and I was given my call phonetically as Kilo Delta 1 Sierra Hotel, and the guy that I was trying to contact couldn't make out the Sierra part, and I gave it over and over again, and then eventually I resorted to trying a non-standard phonetic, sugar, and he could not understand sugar either, and then eventually out of desperation I used sausage, so I gave my call as Kilo Delta 1 Sausage Hotel, and he got that just fine for some reason, and I don't know, I thought that was kind of weird, but I prefer to stick with the standard phonetic alphabet, which is I believe that's listed in the ARRL handbooks, or at least it used to be anyway, and it's certainly available on the web, and I learned it back in the military and have stuck with it ever since. The Marlboro Hamfest, Marlboro Mass Hamfest, which I believe is put on by the Algonquin Club, for anybody who's interested, is 41 days away. I've been keeping track of that one. That's one of my favorite Hamfests, and it's first one of the season, more or less, so it tends to draw a good crowd. Nice little Hamfest. Always enjoyed that, so put that on your calendars. 41 days to go to Marlboro. Anyway, 7-3, and good morning to everyone on the AM Carrier Net. And I believe I'll turn it over to Larry. So here we go. NE1S, go ahead, from KD1SH 73.
KD1SH. Hello. Yeah, we're transmitting KD1SH in the AM Carrier Net, NE1S. Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're hearing my little Ranger this morning. Let me make sure things are tuned up here. About as good as they're going to be. Yeah, well, Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2020. Hope it's a good one for everyone. And let's see, Joe on Jackson Bob. Yeah, anybody on the net who signed on to the Jackson Bob GoFundMe page and contributed a little bit, thank you very much. It was much needed. The money is going toward his the visiting nurses that are coming in to take care of him, and you know, well, that's basically it. You know, his health care. And he, as far as I know, he's still over at Scott and Roberta's, K1YSK's, and his wife up in Buckfield, Maine. We went up there on New Year's Day. Elaine and I went up there. First time we'd been up to Scott's. It's about 36 miles from here, which turns out to be almost an hour drive. Very pretty up there. You know, it's kind of hilly, and Scott's property is kind of on top of a hill, and you got a clear shot. We didn't walk up there, but he said at the top of the hill there's a clear shot to the White Mountains of Mount Washington. But very, very pretty place. And saw Jackson Bob, and he looks good, and but they got to keep an eye on his weight because he's got CHF, congestive heart failure, and with that, because the heart's not up to what it's supposed to do, in terms of circulation. People with CHF have a tendency to retain water, so they got to keep an eye on his weight and make sure that his weight gain diet does not exceed, I think it's 4 pounds. But anyway, with the right care, this can be managed for a long time. My mom had CHF for quite a while before she passed away. So anyway, he's not up at Roberta and Scott's permanently. As a matter of fact, looks like he'll be staying temporarily next with somebody in Jackson, New Hampshire, a friend of his in Jackson, New Hampshire. But that isn't permanent either. He's trying to get into it. He's a veteran, so he's trying to get into a VA assisted living type situation. But there's a huge list for those, long list, waiting list for that. Let's see what else is going on here. Let's see. Gosh, what will I want to cover? Yesterday, and Ross will be interested in this, W1EKG did a road trip with W1UJR down to Peabody, Mass. to pick up a T368. So I had my weightlifting covered for yesterday, and we got the T368 successfully moved from Peabody, New Hampshire to Woolwich, Maine. And this is Bruce's second T368. And I don't know if he's planning on keeping it long term, but he was excited about getting it on the air. And we may hear it on the air maybe for the PM/AM net this afternoon if he's successful and doesn't get sidetracked doing something else. Finally, Ross, I don't know if you saw the emails, but Howard was unable to meet over the holidays for a discussion on NAVIC training, but definitely is interested in being involved in having a strategic discussion on, what is most going to be appreciated by the club and where to go from here. So we'll be having that discussion at some point when we can get both you and Howard together on a teleconference. So anyway, enough out of me. This will be my only one. Actually, also wanted to say Bob, N1TZU, is over here. You may hear him talking to my wife in the background. He's brought over a DX100 to look at together. So that's next on the agenda. And this will be my only transmission because I'll probably have my nose in a DX100 when it comes around to me again. 73L, W1EKG, and the AM carrier net, NE1S.
Okay, Larry, thanks. What's going on here? There we go. I'm not used to running my ART-13 down at this frequency, so I have to tweak things just a little bit to get it where it should be. Yeah, very good. There it is, 105 watts. Okay, yeah, Larry, I did see the emails. Just haven't had a chance to dig back into it more. And it would be good to have a teleconference and iron out some things about the training. And, if we don't get a uptick in interest, I'm ready to throw in the towel if everybody else is. I love teaching the classes, and I might just keep on doing that. But it would really be beneficial to everybody if we could get more participation on the teaching end. So, but we won't hash that out here. And yes, we heard you yesterday morning mention going to pick up the T368. I decided to run this today instead of the T3. Mine's sitting here patiently waiting to be turned on. But, yeah, it's always exciting and it's always painful moving those things. I remember doing mine. My back hurts just thinking about it. So, that's the scoop with moving a T368. And you can probably lift the top section alone. You have to have two people for the second section, and the bottom section takes at least three. And the cabinet takes at least three, unless it's on wheels. Yeah, it's a morbidly beast to move around for sure. I had to dig into mine about a week ago and pop a new 4400 in it. My output had dropped down to about 300 watts, but it's back up where it belongs now. Quick comment on the Marlboro Hamfest. It is not the first one of the year. It's after the Whitman Amateur Radio Club's Winterfest, which is coming up on Saturday the 18th, about 500 feet from where I'm standing here in Whitman, over at the Knights of Columbus on Route 18. Welcome to come by. I'm hoping to have a table there. If there's still one available at our meeting on Wednesday night, I'll buy one. But definitely put it on your calendar. It's becoming a very popular event. This is only our third year, I think, doing it. And Mr. Mike from Nearfest will be there selling tickets. he'll at least have a table and be handing out brochures. So put that on your calendar. January 18th at the Knights of Columbus in Whitman. We'll be hopefully looking forward to seeing all or some of you there. I know it's a bit of a drive, but it's not for me. I can walk there, but anyways, that would be great. So I don't want to hold it here too long. I've got an R390A that I need to replace Z503 in, so I'm going to be attempting to do that this morning, and then getting back to fabricating 6-foot diameter clock dials. I need to make 3 of them, and I'm getting there. It's been a long, tedious project. So let's see. It goes over to N1ALF. Rob, take it away. This is W1EKG 73.
All right, give a little pause. Good morning. Thank you, Ross. Happy New Year's to everyone. In a late night last night and late morning getting in here. We have our 2 little tornadoes here, Oklahoma and Kansas. They're visiting, and I can't believe it. They're going to be 5 years old. And I got the crazy idea Wednesday morning, to actually turn the dial of the radio in the tuner off 80 meters. Had to take a vice grip to get it off there because it's been stuck on there since they were born. I haven't worked any other bands, so I decided to go on 20 meters and work Europe. Europe was coming in great, and some of the people I contacted looked up and go, "We haven't talked to you in 5 years. Where you been?" So I guess I got to get back to doing a little DXing there. But everything's good here. The weather's great. Can't complain for this time of the year. We got to watch out for next month. February is known as a snow month because look out for February 11th. That's my birthday. I'm not trying to hint to anybody. The day I was born there, we had a big snowstorm, and pretty good chances there. It usually does snow on my birthday, so maybe I just won't have my birthday this year there, so we won't get any snow. Nothing's changed here. Everything's still operating on the same thing. Things are doing 160. I saw some notation there on amplitude, what's called amplitude modulation classic from KK4 OKG, which is Philip down in Georgia there. Mentioned something about the league was on their W1AW was on their working their yesterday sometime. Last night I must have missed it because I was upstairs with the kids there. But I did work Bob Allison from the league there. He was over at the lab there. He had a tour and I happened to be on, and so he heard my voice. He goes, "Hey Alf, you want to do me a favor?" He says, "You want to do a little jibber jabber there? I want demonstrating the Gates transmitter to some of the tourists." So I said, "Yeah." So that's the first time contacting actually the lab. So, and yes, the AM rally again. Some of you, if you go and see some of the postings there, that's that video that's on there. Excuse me. That's from KB3W. Stuttering in the morning. KB3WFE. They're Brian down in Maryland. Him and friends of his got that video together like they have for the last couple of years. And yes, I was fortunate to be attending that AM rally last year up at the league. And just a little note, some people are like, "Oh, how come I didn't know about it? I wanted to come up." That event is not actually at the league's across the street there at W1AW's site there. That's actually been all operated at the lab. And because of insurance policies and stuff, because it's not actually open to the public, it was, they can't have everybody, coming up and attending it. So, some fortunate people were able to, come up there. So, I just don't want everybody to get the idea, well, I'm going to go up and I'm going to be able to operate. And wish they could. They would love it, but because of, like I said, insurance policies. Nothing else going on here. I don't think anything new. Well, I'm not allowed to bring anything new in. And now we don't have any more boat anchors, but we do miss them in a way. So this will be the last round. I just want to say 73s, everyone. Have a good Sunday and a good week, and we'll catch you next weekend. N1LF, back. Oh, Al, if you're listening, I wonder if you got the photos there. I showed you the construction of the shed platform there. N1F, over to you, Joe.
Yeah, okay, very good, Rob. Well, I've been able to hang in here, but I do need to exit stage left. So good morning to you, Rob, and Ross, and Larry, and thanks, Larry, very much for the update on Jackson Bob. Certainly appreciate that, and hope that if he's listening this morning, good morning to you, Bob, and hope you're doing well. So, very good indeed. Well, I'm right up against my timeline here, so I'm going to need to run, but I appreciate Al has offered to try to manage folks who might be staying for round 2, so that's greatly appreciated. The stations I have that I believe are going to be staying, I'm not sure about Rob, he may stay, but I have Chris, AJ1G, Rich, KC1VOW, and then of course yourself, Al, W1BTP, possibly Steve, KB2NQN, and then maybe Ross, W1EKG, or I think Rob said he was signing. So, I'm going to send it over to Al. I guess if Al wanted to check for additional check-ins, that might add to the list. But I am going to need to slide out of here, get into the shower, and get out the door as quickly as possible. So, I'll listen for just about a minute, and then I need to run. So, over to you, Al, and again, thanks very much for offering to take round 2 for those who might be staying. W1VTP will assume net control. Thanks for a great net. Super turnout here. Looks like they had 18 if my count is correct. And that's always welcome and appreciated, and welcome to the new check-ins. Bill down in Dover, and Rich out there in Raynham, Massachusetts. So, 7-3 and good morning. Over to you, Al. W1VTP. Assuming net control, this is N1VIV, 73.
Okay, just quickly, Rob, before you leave, liquid wrench sometimes works pretty good on frozen controls. And yes, I did get the pictures, thank you. That sounds like the Taj, looks like the Taj Mahal, but nobody's going to get through that layer of rock, that's for sure. Okay, just W1VTP for N1VIV on the carrier net, looking for additional check-ins. Go ahead. Okay, I may have a disagreement with what was who left and who didn't, but I have next AJ1G, well, I'll read off the list. AJ1G, KC1BOW, WA2RAS, W3MMR, myself, WF2Q, KDQNQN, KD1SH, W1EKG, and N1ALF checked out, so EKG is the tail gunner. So AJ, I didn't say that right, did I? W1EKG is the tail gunner. AJ1G, go ahead. And pass it on to Rich, BOW. I'm still here. Rich, not going too far with the cold. Oh, yes. I'm feeling much better than I was MMR to F2Q, F2Q to KD2NQN, and then it goes to KD1SH, then to W1EKG. Go ahead, Chris.
It appears to be, going only out the front rather than down my throat as far as I can tell. But I don't need to share any more with that. It's no fun at all, let me tell you. Kind of scary when I saw how much was coming out. Anyhow, okay, on your the phonetic stuff, yeah, sometimes I think I say them too fast, but then again, when I was passing it to Joe, I was just sending it to him, so I wasn't trying to get it to everybody. And one comment I would make is I think what speed things up with the rotation is he just lists the calls in order of rotation rather than saying XYZ sends it to WXQ and then WXQ sends it to 1, 2, 3. You know, he says every call twice. So just list the calls in a row and I think it'll be a little faster. Anyhow, Joe, yeah, you better get going. You were 10 minutes after your drop dead time there, so hopefully you're going to be able to make it to the church on time. 73, everybody. I forgot to say Happy New Year to everybody, I think, at the beginning of the net, but Happy New Year to everybody. Too bad about the Patriots. I was unaware of that. I was kind of out of it yesterday with the cold and forgot about the game being on Saturday. And unfortunately, the article I saw on ESPN said there was a winter storm named Henry and then a running back named Henry that didn't win. Probably both things combined to make it not a good outcome for the Patriots, but they had a good season. Not as good as it could have been. They started out stellar, and then they just kind of ran out of gas. But it's always next year they're going to start looking towards the Red Sox. So let's see. I don't know if Rich is still in here, our new guy, KC1BOW, one of the new guys. And I don't think Bill was going to stay in WF1L. And someone mentioned Dan, KC3FKR. Yeah, he's a one smart kid and very motivated. I wish him all the best. You know, I talked to Joe about him up at Nearfest, and Joe's been really taking him under his wing and getting him going. Let's see. Yeah, KB2NQN, kind of weak up here. I don't know if there's an antenna issue there. You're always not weak, but not real strong. I was surprised that you weren't stronger considering your location. And Larry, they're very good on Jackson Bob. I think he gave us a Jackson Bob update. Ross, good luck painting those crack ends. And Rob, very good on everything down there. And about the AM rally coming up, I guess. I guess yesterday was the heavy metal rally. I didn't realize that. I just saw some traffic about it on AM phone about W1AW being off, and I forgot about that too. Oh well. I was not in any condition of playing it though. I was really out for the count yesterday. Anyway, let's see we treat everybody. Have a great week. God bless. All the best in the new year. And I'll turn it down to Rich if he's still there. KC1BOW in the AM carrier at AJ1G.
Thank you, AJ1G, if I got that right. This is Kilo Charlie 1 Bravo Oscar Whiskey, KC1BOW. Yeah, I'm still here, and thank you for welcoming me into the net. Chris, I hope you're feeling a little bit better. Having a nosebleed in the middle of your radio communications, probably not fun. I don't really have much more to add, but I do appreciate the welcomes from everybody, and I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Sunday. And I'm going to move on and try to get a little coffee and breakfast. So 73s to all of you, and I hope to catch you next week if everything works out. 73.
WH2RAS, you there? Okay, W3MMR, Ralph Perry, you there? WF2Q, Howie.
Yeah, both MMR and Howie said they were out, Al. Next one I have up is yourself. Well, actually, you're before them. Next one I have up is maybe K1 Ryan is out, and I think KD1SH maybe. Larry is out. Ross may be in, and Rob may be in. N1ALF, HA1G.
Yeah, I got some ticked out, but I'll just run the list and we'll be done with it. I'm going to skip my comments and let's see if N2NC is there. KD1SH.
I am still here, and I apologize for not making it clear whether I was going to stick around or not. And honestly, I wasn't sure at the time whether I was going to stick around, but I just sat back and listened. So KD1SH, again, down here in the northeast corner, the quiet corner of Connecticut. Not a whole lot to add, I guess. I did contact Bob, WB1GCM, at the league last night. He was running the gates as part of the heavy metal rally, which I had forgotten entirely about and didn't have any rigs warmed up and ready to go or anything. And I turned the radio on to tune it up for this net this morning, which I usually do the night before. And there was Bob at the league, so I was happy to be able to work him. But that was the only contact I made during the heavy metal rally, because I had pretty much forgotten about it. But I am not forgetting about the AM rally coming up in February. Very much looking forward to that. That's a wonderful event, and it really draws quite a lot of participants, so that's cool. And if Ross is still there, I think he said he was going to be working on a DX100, but if he's within earshot, thanks for reminding me of the Whitman Winterfest. I have never been to that one, and I neglected to mention that one as being the first, because I don't usually put it on my calendar, because I've never gone to it. But a bit of a drive for me, but then again, if I can go to Nearfest, I can go there. So who knows? Maybe I will make this one my first time. I've heard it's a good little event. And for anybody who might be planning to attend the Framingham Hamfest, I don't believe there is going to be a Framingham event this year. The club that sponsors it apparently, as noted on their website, has decided not to put on that flea market this year. They don't specify any reason. I don't know if it was because they lost money on it, didn't get the turnout. I mean, they've always got the turnout, so I can't see where that was an issue. But in any event, there will be no Framingham flea market this year, as per their website. Still checking occasionally on the web for any news on the Sussex, New Jersey Hamfest, which I've been going to the last few years. No information there. The club website still shows the 2019 date, so looking forward to that. And Nearfest, of course, and looking forward to flea market season. So anyway, that is it for me. I'm going to go have some breakfast, and then I will head over to the old homestead again for some more painting and sprucing up of that place. So it's an ongoing thing, and will be for a while. So no idea, of course, who's after me, so I'll turn it back over to Al, and I'm going to go make some breakfast. 7-3, everybody, and back over to Al, W1VTP, KD1SH.
Yeah, okay, Bill. I am very disappointed in that comment about not being able to go into the lab and to at least take a look at the transmitter. So I've pretty much written off my interest in ERRL. I was going to go down, and I may still do that. I have an invite from a friend of mine who may have an end, so if that happens, then I'll be down there. But to take a trip all the way down there, only to be said that I can only look at the brochures and the main transmitter area, the ARRL, the old building, may become uninterested. Marlborough, I stopped going to that one because I think the doors open at 9 and close at 12, pretty much. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not worth a trip. I know there's quite a few tables in there, but I just don't go there anymore. I find it uninteresting, too. You meet a bunch of friends in a big rush, and all of a sudden, that's it. They roll up the sidewalks. Over to W1EKG. And Larry, if you're listening, thanks for the REC report. We're all interested in Bob's welfare, of course. Glad he's in good hands. W1EKG, Ross, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Al. Oh, very good. Yeah, I wasn't working on a DX100. I'm working on 6-foot diameter clock dials. I think Larry was working on a DX100. But, yep, the 18th is the Winterfest. We'll look forward to seeing any or all of you there, one way or the other. And I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm going to go do that. And I'll say 73, and Happy New Year to everybody. It's WNEKG from, excuse me, the home of the Toll House Cookie here, 20 miles south of Boston. Have a good day.
Okay, we're about done at the bottom of the list, and we'll have one last call up for final check-ins for the carrier net. Go ahead. Nothing heard. Thanks for stopping by, guys. We had 17 plus 1, making a total of 18. And I'll submit a report to... well, there's actually nothing new here, so I don't think I need to bother to submit a report to Joe. See y'all later. W1 VTP shutting down the, securing the carrier net there. That's a better way of putting it.
7-3 Al, and just a quick comment. I was just looking at the Algonquin Club Marlboro Flea Market website, and it's saying 9 o'clock to 1 o'clock.
Oh, that's an extra hour.
Yeah, still not a whole lot of time, you know, but I'm usually out of there by 1 o'clock anyway. My wife comes along with me, and her stomach is growling by noontime, and she starts to get a little cranky when she's hungry. So I'm usually out of there by around noon anyway, but I do like to have a little bit of elbow room.
Yeah, I've been there a couple of times, and it was okay. I met some friends of mine. That's the important thing for me, is meeting your friends. And if the tables have something of interest, okay, all well and good. I've picked up one thing of significance down there, and that was my current Collins 32V2, listen to me, Collins 75A2. But that was a tailgate-to-tailgate transfer. It never made it inside the building. So that's about the only thing I ever bought from that place of any significance. Okay, well, 7-3, guys. I have got the call of the Blue Room ahead of me, so I'm going to be jumping out of here. And when I come back, maybe I'll drop my call in here, or maybe I'll just go up to the other frequencies. W1 to VTP. Catch y'all later.
7-3, KD1SH.
Be up to band a little later, Al.
See ya.
Yeah.